Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope we're all doing very, very well. Welcome back to another match day stream. It's a lunchtime show, but it is match day. We're going to be talking about the Djugarden game. We'll touch on some of the latest Chelsea news as well and the updates that have come out as well since yesterday and today as well. But we're going to be talking about a game which, well, really, we shouldn't be talking too much about. We shouldn't be debating about it.
It's our massive semi-final second leg tonight.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's exciting, isn't it? After the Champions League ties this week, to turn our attention to Djugarden is nice, isn't it?
We are playing the Garden. Beer Garden, the Garden. Nah. I mean, oh God, Nina. I mean, you're going, but you wanted to sell your ticket, Nina. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? I didn't even get a ticket, but I still managed to go because there's a lot of empty seats. So someone was like, yeah, come with me if you want.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, we'll go support the boys, get into the final and win it, and then go home and never return. Please, let's just do that.
Let's get the job done. Let's get the job done. Let's make it efficient. Let's make it professional. Let's make it pretty.
Let's make it emphatic, I say. Let's go big.
Emphatic is a better word. Yeah, pretty is maybe not the right word. But we want it to be entertaining as well. Can we win with a bit of style, a bit of finesse? What can we do to show that we're not just these bottle jobs that want to cling on to a 4-1 lead against Djugarden and play a strong team and still fumble like we did against Warsaw? I don't want one of them. I'm hoping that we can just go out and play to win. Play to win. Do not play to draw. Don't play to stay in it. Play to win. Even if you're playing your young players, more so actually if you're playing with the young players, because I want them to be direct and energetic and positive, which is what we're looking for. So we'll see. Big up to everyone watching. We've got about 30 of you in the building. Smash the like button if you haven't already as well. Let's get straight up to 30 likes on the video. Big up to Philip. I hope you're doing well, mate. Good to see you on. Prem Talk as well says, hello, Nina.
Hello,
Good
Prem
to see you on. Listen, let us know your predictions in the chat as well. We're going to be doing our predicted lineup for this game. We're also going to be talking about anything else that may be relevant at the moment. Here's an interesting stat for you. Chelsea have scored 4 or more on 5 occasions in the UEFA Conference League this season. The third most ever in a major European competition this season, behind Barcelona, which was the 1999-2000 Champions League, and Real Madrid in 2013-14 in the Champions League. So the stat would be really something if it was also in the Champions League. But because it's in the Conference League, I think you have to take that with a slight pinch of salt. But what that does tell us is we are a very dominant side in this competition, and you would presume that it remains that way.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not too surprised. I think, it has a bit more substance if it's in the Champions League, definitely. But, to be fair, I do want us to score loads of goals tonight just for confidence and just for the remaining part of the season because, they haven't really come as a given as we were scoring many at the start of the season. We were scoring 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 once, and obviously 8 against Noah. So I think goals are really important for players to just take a little bit of something into their next game. And judging by Maresca's lineups in the Conference League recently, obviously we let a lot of those players that were playing regularly go in January out on loan. So we've seen a lot more of the regular kind of, if you want to call those regular starters, feature in these Conference League lineups. And I think actually that's a good thing because of where we are in the season, because I'm also looking ahead to our Premier League game with this one in mind, thinking if I can see one of my players score a goal tonight, go to St. James's Park with a little bit of confidence, that's a really big deal. So you can almost look at it like, yes, we need to get the job done, just get ourselves the final and win it, but also look at it as kind of like a a warm-up to the actual bigger games that are coming up in the league as well, that are really important for a bit of momentum. So it's two ways of looking at it. So actually it's a lot bigger. It's not just the Conference League semi-final tonight. It's also a chance for the players that are going to feature on Sunday when we go away to St James's Park to get a little bit of consistency ticking. If they can get themselves a goal as well, even better. And that just means that self-esteem rises a little bit as well. So it's actually a good thing.
Yeah. No, I agree with a lot of what you've said there. Interesting as well, looking in the comments. Vijay says, hi, both loving the content recently and up the Chelsea. Thank you, mate. Neil says, Nina and Alex, have you seen the Younes vlog at the Damac unveiling in Dubai? No, I haven't.
No,
have
I
you,
actually
Nina?
haven't.
I saw Feroz upload something on his socials, and that was to do with Damac. There is I can't share too much, but there is some more stuff about Damac which will be coming out in the next week or so. So stay peeled for that. Lee says better win by 3 goals again tonight. Philip says 4-0. That would be nice. Donna back in the building. Donna Cullen. Do you know what, Donna? Your loyalty has been better, but is one lunch show every couple of days? Is that the standard we're striving for here? Is that the standard? Because I would look at you and then I look at someone like Jordan, for example. Jordan's on every single show. That is loyalty.
Jordan's a real one.
That is loyalty. So Donna, you need to learn from Jordan. You need to learn from even I see Neil in here quite a lot, to be fair. And I've seen Martin a couple of times, Reece. I've seen Philip.
I love this comment though. Donna, Miss Donna, you can have the MVP of prettiness on YouTube. That's all yours.
There you go. I mean, listen, you're getting there, Donna. It's not bad. It's not bad. But listen, that's why you work at Tottenham and you don't work at Chelsea, because you're not bad. You're not great. You're not terrible. You're not bad. All right. So we need to up the level to Chelsea levels. That's what we're looking for here. Prem Talk says, Alex, Chelsea fans, some of them may not need the Conference League title, but this young squad need that trophy. It will be huge for them, especially Reece James and Enzo Fernandez lifting the trophy. I agree. I mean, we definitely need to just get the taste of winning, especially after last year in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, where you could argue we could have really won both of those trophies if we hadn't have conceded late to Liverpool, and we honestly should have beat City in the semi-finals. They were so tired in that game, and we would have had it all to play for against United.
No, true. That's actually a really good point, though, about obviously how important it is to certain players. Like Enzo Fernandez has won a World Cup. It doesn't get any bigger than that. But for some of the other players, they haven't really touched silverware. Like there's a lot of players in our squad that haven't won a major trophy at all. And if I actually go through all of them, I actually can't think who else has won a really significant trophy at our club currently, or someone that plays regularly for us.
Well, I mean,
don't look at our loans and stuff. Don't look at. I'm not talking about players like Sterling, etc. Like players that play right now in our current squads. Apart from Enzo Fernandez, who has won a major trophy? No one.
Well, obviously James Chalobah.
Well, yes, James Chalobah, but I mean like recent incomings and players that we have.
Signings that they've made.
Yeah. No one. So it's massive. It really is so huge. And
Dewsbury won the championship.
Oh my God, how can I forget? He's a serial winner. Woohoo. But no, do you know what I mean though? Like you can't, when you haven't won a trophy at this level, you're not going to look at this one as an inferior one. You're still going to be happy that you've won a trophy. Like, yes, of course, if we're looking kind of the bigger picture at Chelsea as a club in terms of winning this, it's not as significant because we've seen, absolutely precious things in our lifetime. But for these players to get their hands on this trophy, to lift something, just to have a bit of a boost in morale and confidence, to give you a taste of what winning feels like as well, so that you can actually crave it more, crave it bigger and better next year, that's really something, because you actually, like, how can you dream of winning something when you've not even had that kind of winning feeling in the first place? Do you know what I mean? Like, once you achieve one thing, your ambitions instantly become bigger, they become better. So for these players just to dream, because yes, we want them to get to the Champions League, but for them to actually win something first so that they know what it takes and how good it feels to lift something, it makes you more motivated instantly. So yeah, these players really need it. So I absolutely agree with Prem Talk there.
I see the comment that says Cucurella's won. He won obviously the
Oh,
Euro,
Cucurella, yes.
but that was after Chelsea had signed him. So I guess by that logic, it's like, okay, he did win, but we didn't bring in a winner. I guess that goes back to your point. That was your original point, wasn't it?
Well, that's not true, is it? Cucurella was with us when he won the Euros.
No, that's what I'm saying. But we didn't sign him while he was already a winner. So he hadn't won anything before he had come to Chelsea. Obviously, he won the Euros, but he was already a Chelsea player at that point.
Yes, good.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's a great point as well, Prem Talk. I think that's a good point. And there's no doubt that it's going to bring a lot of positives. And I'm not going to sit here and not celebrate the Conference League. Of course, it is a big deal. Of course, it is.
Like, we're not going to have a parade, but you can still be like, you know,
you don't think we'll have an open top bus parade?
Come on, Alex, we're not, are we?
I would do that. Fuck yeah.
Would you have an open bus parade? Guys, everyone in the comments get involved. Should Chelsea have an open bus parade for winning the League?
I would still have an open top bus parade. Absolutely. Especially when you look at like this comment is very it is a bit eye-opening when you look at it like that. Look, the emotional fan in me says, listen, what are we doing? This trophy has no significance. It's got no heritage. It's easier to win than any other trophy. Like, you could argue the Community Shield's harder to win than the Conference League, because at least in the Community Shield, you're up against an FA Cup winner or a Premier League winner. Like, that's challenging, isn't it? Even if it's technically a pre-season game. Whereas with this, the best side we're going to play is Real Betis, who, if I'm not wrong, are like 6th in La Liga, maybe 7th. So, you know, that they may be in form, but they're not an elite club. They're in that bracket below. I mean, they weren't even able to get Europa League football. So very difficult to take competition seriously when you look at it like that. But there are obviously positives to winning, like any competition. I mean, it does help with the mentality and the morale.
But think how differently it's perceived between the two clubs. I mean, I'm speaking as if, you know, say Real Betis do get to the final. I think, you know, they kind of do have it in the bag, and I'd back them to get the job done over Fiorentina. I don't think Fiorentina have been particularly amazing this year, but I think, you know, in the Conference League, but I think that for Betis, like, this is their first European trophy, like, full stop, right? So for them, this is going to be massive. And we're looking at it, it was almost like, get the trophy, go home, have a little round of applause, forget about it, move on, get back to where we usually compete. But to them, this is humongous. Like, you know, people saying West Ham, take it in the comments, like what that trophy meant to them as well. So it's really interesting to see, obviously, like the disparity between clubs and what they've won, and how massive, or rather how insignificant, a trophy actually can be, right?
Yeah. No, I think there's definitely significance. So you don't think that we should have an open top bus parade for that? I think we should. I agree.
No.
I agree with the comment. Was it Neil that said it? Celebrate winning it all. That's a great point. It's not just the significance of winning a trophy; it's the fact that we've completed the set. We've done it all.
Yeah, but
we're
I
the only club to have done all of it. All of it. I mean, if you wanted to get really detailed, you say, "Oh, the Club World Cup, the new Club World Cup." That means winning it all. But we've already won the Club World Cup, so screw it. We can still say we've won it.
We can win if we win the Club World Cup. We could sort of present the Conference League trophy with it, have like a little duo, like kind of combined one. But I don't know, not for just the Conference League.
Again, Martin makes a good point. He said, this is the new Chelsea. It's the start of a journey. We need to celebrate if we win. I think it's a pretty negative outlook to not celebrate winning the cup. But
no, celebrate, yeah, absolutely.
But that's an open top bus celebration.
I just think that's
and you've got to go past the Emirates as well. I saw a comment.
Give him a little wave.
We're going to have a detour past the Emirates.
Maybe in that case we can allow it.
I don't know. I just don't see the point. Well, what's the like? You've got the. I want the players to feel like winners for a season, even if we know generally they're not. But
Well, Alex,
Chelsea,
you haven't even really been celebrating their goals. Do you know what I mean? Like every time we've scored a goal, really in the well, take the 4 goals we scored against Djugarden.
oh, you're talking about the Conference League, not the
Yes,
league.
apart from Jackson's second goal, which was incredible, it was kind of like a smile and a high five. Do you know what I mean? Like that doesn't really call for an open bus parade. I'm sure they're all going to be really happy and they're going to feel accomplished because this is this was the expectation before we even played our opening fixture in the competition. Sorry if that sounds entitled, but do you know what I mean? It's like every time they've celebrated, it's kind of like okay, yay.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been trying since the Liverpool game, well, even since the Fulham game, to just sort of open my eyes to the fact that even though I don't like a lot of the things going on, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I want to be open to the fact that there are good things. The emotional part of me is like, well, it's just not good enough. Full stop. Top to bottom, not good enough. But then the other side is this is what we are. And considering what we are, we're challenging for a trophy and we could get Champions League. And that would be a success in that respect. But then the bigger picture is that is what we expect anyway. So I don't know. I see a sort of mixed result, a mixed opinion based on what I'm seeing at the moment in the chat as well. Some people are saying that, we shouldn't celebrate. Some people are saying, of course, you got to celebrate the heritage of winning everything. Irrespective of what trophy it is, you should still, 100%. Like, would you, I don't actually know if this is even a thing. We must have we had how many seasons have we just won the Carabao or something like that? Have we had seasons where we've just won that? We won it with Mourinho, but I'm sure we won the league as well. Is that right?
Yeah. When did we last win the Carabao Cup? That was like
Mourinho.
Before
that, it would have been Mourinho again, maybe even.
God, I think it feels like we haven't won it in forever.
Been to plenty of finals for the Carabao. We lost under Tuchel twice, if I'm not wrong. We lost with Sarri. We lost with Poch.
That was the Carabao Cup final, though, wasn't it?
Carabao, yeah.
Wait, I'm looking this up.
I'm sure it's Mourinho's won the last 2 for us.
That's the one I'd celebrate a lot more. Do you know? I said this year, if we won a domestic cup, I would have celebrated that massively because it's been so long since we've won it, and it's been so long since we've actually won a final at Wembley. Get your hands on silverware. Like, you still have to be so competitive. Do you know what I mean? It's difficult, but we got there. Almost got there to a FA Cup final as well last year. It's like, why didn't we get over the line? Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah. So listen, it's at the end of the day, it's a European trophy, and I do believe that, although to a lot of fans it feels embarrassing, it's a trophy. A trophy is a trophy. Just like we say, a win is a win. A win is a win. A trophy is a trophy. It's going in the cabinet. It's another trophy for us that Arsenal aren't getting, that Tottenham aren't getting.
Hey, we don't even need to refer to them.
Making that gap even bigger, the gap even bigger. Also, anyone who watched the game yesterday, stick your French emojis in the chat. I want to hear your French phrases, baguettes, croissants, tagal. If you know, you know. Stick it all in there, guys. I want to see the.
Wow, that was such a broad French variety, Alex. Very, very creative.
Classic tourism from me. Classic tourism. That's all I know. I mean,
any French-speaking people in the comments?
That's all you need. You don't have to complicate it. Keep it simple. Gets the message across, doesn't it? Big up. Listen, Lena, let's talk about let's talk about the game as well, because we do need to sort of speak about Djugarden as well. We'll talk about the significance of, is that a McDonald's French fry? How is that French? Where's that coming from? Although to be fair, fuck knows. I mean, maybe McDonald's.
French fries, Alex.
It's not. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll give you that. So when we look at the team today, Nina, just off the top, do you think we're going strong, or do you think we're rotating heavily?
From our league game or from the first leg?
From our league game.
Yes, because we'll probably see a similar lineup to the first leg. I think, we might see Tyreek George start again. I think we might see Dewsbury Hall start. So I think in terms of player rotation, I think we might see something similar to the first leg because these players have been playing a lot more. Obviously, I think Maresca said that Mark Yu is available not to start, I think, but maybe might see him get a few minutes at the end. Obviously, he's been quite great in this competition and I'm sure he's itching to play again. I think defensively we won't change too much because realistically, how much actual choice do we have there at the back at the moment? Obviously, Reece James, I think, should get some minutes as well. I'm not too sure if he would start, though. Do you know what I mean? I think Maresca's been quite protective with Reece, and he's kind of preferred him as a substitute more than anything. So we might see that. Someone just mentioned Achimpong there. I forgot as well. He probably starts in this one, but with regards to other players, I think Malagusto maybe starts. Obviously, he was brought on against Liverpool. So, yeah, I think we will rotate because, again, we can afford to. And these players should absolutely be getting the job done in the second leg. You're 4-1 up. There's really not much to worry about. So, if anything, good to get some minutes under their belts. But also, I would play Sancho in this game because I think, Sancho's a player that he's being relied on as a kind of super sub as well, where he's not starting in game. So he needs a little bit of a confidence boost. If he can get another goal, I think he's been good for us. Again, with Sancho, it's just about goals. He needs goals because there's a player there, right? Like we see the technical ability every game, but he needs some more numbers. So yeah, and I think, again, I obviously mentioned Tyreek George. So obviously, who does that leave? I think Enzo Fernandez probably plays. Or does he get a rest? I feel like, but then who else would you play? I feel like you kind of should give Enzo a rest, but at the same time, he's been playing so many minutes and he doesn't seem to mind. So I don't know. That's an interesting one. Does Enzo play in this? Does he start in this game, do you think?
No.
No. So you'd rest him. What would our midfield look like then? Who do we have?
We're going to go through it. I'm going to share a screen. Do you know what this means, Nina? Tu ne verras jamais ça.
No, wow. But
I have no idea what that means. Can we please get a translator? Martin, can you translate that?
I think it's something like you don't. Something you. I don't know. No, that's really wrong.
I ain't got a clue.
Sorry, I did Spanish GCSE. So
we need a translator up in here, please. Okay, well let's go through then. Let's start in goal. Fairly obvious. Do you think that we're going to see Jorgensen starting in goal for us?
Yes, Jorgensen should be in goal for us. Again, he's just kind of like a meh. I don't like him and I don't not like him. I'm feeling very mid about him. So
yeah. Number 2, isn't he? Solid number 2. It's about as good as you can get. What about on the right? We were just speaking about Reece James. So you don't think he plays?
No, I think we'll probably see Josh Achimpong start in this one. Again, you can afford it. He's obviously been favoured by Maresca. I mean, you can understand why he won't give him minutes in the league, but at this stage, second leg, why not? There's obviously a player there. Build his confidence up a little bit. Yeah.
Do you think he's going to invert?
I don't know. That's interesting. I think maybe Malagusto, because I don't know. It's interesting because I think if Malagusto starts maybe on the left, he could be the one inverting because, I mean, he does his experiments, doesn't he? But I don't think Josh Achimpong could.
We saw him invert in, was it Poland? and he did a great job, to be fair.
Was he inverting in that game?
You were working that game. So yeah, no, he inverted in Poland, and he did a great job. I'll give him that. Like, Achimpong, if I'm not wrong, played in 3 different positions in that game, and thrived in all of them. And that's the game where Maresca said, "I'm in love with Josh," and then proceeded to drop him. And I thought,
yeah,
fucking hell, I wouldn't want to be your Valentine.
I've seen that before.
So we want Josh on the right, and then who are we going to have on the left? Are we saying Gusto?
I think Gusto will play, yeah, just purely because he will rest some of our key players. Gusto hasn't really started recently. He's another one that's lacking confidence at the moment. So probably, yeah.
And by the way, is this what you think Maresca's going to do, or is this what you want? Always important to clarify that before.
I think a bit of both. I'm not too sure. Sorry, excuse me. I'm not too sure. I think I would want this.
So this is what you want.
Would probably go for this as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What about in the middle? Who do you want to see there? We had obviously who was it? Colwell and Chalobah against Liverpool. So do you think that we'll change that entirely?
I mean, he's probably going to opt for Badiashile to come in, wouldn't he?
Badie on the left?
He chops and changes the whole back line. Yeah.
And then who we have on the other side?
Tosin, maybe. I don't know.
Man like Tosin. I like Tosin. Yeah, stick him in there. No problem. Perfect. So we've got our back line. We've got Djugarden in goal. That's pretty standard. I guess Gusto's not a preference on the left because you're looking to just rest Cucurella. You haven't really got another option there. Vega's gone, and we haven't got Chilwell. We haven't got Caleb Wiley, any of those players. We have seen once or twice Badiashile play on the left, but I don't see that happening. So I think that will probably stay. We've got Tosin as well in there, playing the majority of Conference League games, and then Josh Achimpong presumably inverting, unless we see that from Gusto, which you think he might be inverting instead. What about the midfield when we come up? We were talking about Enzo, so do you think he won't start either, or do you think he'll be playing?
No, I think Enzo will be playing. Let's be real. Maresca's going to play Enzo. He's not going to opt for that many changes and leave that many key players out. And to be fair, Fernandez has been kind of the glue in the Conference League and in the league. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's become quite consistent at tying all the different rotated players around him. So again, you're not going to take that away in the second leg of the semi-final. Maybe you bring him off in the second half, give him some rest, but Enzo probably starts. Like, if I'm in Maresca's head right now, Enzo will play.
Okay, so we're putting him in the 10?
Well, that really much depends. Obviously, I think Dewsbury Hall will start in this one. It very much depends if he puts him further ahead or drops deeper and puts Enzo in the 10, but I'm not too sure, because then that also depends if he's going to start Reece again in this one and play him in midfield and have pretty much the same midfield we had in the first leg, because I don't see who else will play. I don't think Palmer starts in this one, to be honest, does he? Give Palmer some rest.
Okay, so you don't think Palmer's playing? So maybe Enzo in the 10 instead of Palmer? I mean, he has been playing further up the pitch quite a lot, although I think Dewsbury Hall also played in the 10 in the last.
I think you could probably interchange Dewsbury Hall and Enzo in those roles. So I don't think it really matters, because we've seen both from Maresca, to be honest.
And then who fills that final spot? We've got Caicedo, we've got Lavia, we've got Amugu, we've got James.
Do you know what I wouldn't be surprised at? If he did start Lavia in this game, purely because if he's trying to build him up a little bit from a fitness side of things to kind of, ease him into that Newcastle game at the weekend, or is that too risky and you just go for Well, that's the thing. If I'm in Maresca's head, I'm probably going to opt for James, because I know that's, at least a little bit of solidity. And, he can maybe cover for Achimpong as well if he makes a couple mistakes there at the back.
Well, you've certainly got more experience in that deeper role, because you haven't got enough in the back line. I mean, Tosin's old, but not experienced at this level. Then you've got James and Fernandez give you a little bit of spine. Dewsbury Hall as well in the 10. To be fair, he's actually performed well in the Conference League. There's no doubt about that. He's been a good player from a rotational aspect, always someone to fill in those
Not
games.
always. Not always. I have
Well,
quite a few
the
bones to pick
majority
with
of Conference League, Nina, not Carabao.
No. I know. In the Conference League too, Alex. Sorry.
Which game?
Well,
Oh,
I
maybe
can't
Warsaw at
specify,
home.
but there's been quite a couple. There's been a few games where he's just been a bit like.
I feel like Dewsbury Hall's been all right in the Conference League. I thought it was man of the match against Ghent. That was the one we sat together. Scored a couple.
No
of
offense
goals.
to him. No offense to him, but it's just like with or without. Do you know what I mean?
Oh
like,
no, I don't dispute
I hate
that.
being rude. Don't want to be rude, but like,
just say he's shy. Go on.
In the nicest way possible. I don't care. But yeah, no, he can play. I think fair play. I'll give it to him. He does work hard. He works hard.
There you go. Work hard.
He's a grafter.
He's a grafter. He runs a lot.
He grafts hard. Sorry, Kiernan. Anyways, move on.
What are we thinking on the wings then, Nina? We thinking we got Sancho, we got George, we got
Sancho.
Neto.
Well, it's interesting because I don't think Mark Gu's probably not fit to start, is he? If
We've
he's
got Madueke.
Huh?
We've got Madueke as well. He played in the first leg.
Yeah, that's true. But I think maybe this is where you can maybe play a few more of the youngsters, the inexperienced ones. Like if Gu was fit, I'd start Sancho, I'd put George on the wing as well, and then play Mark Gu up top. But if he's not fit, then I mean I'm not starting Jackson. I don't think he's starting Jackson in this game, is he? But you know, that very much depends. Oh, someone said bring in Walsh. Reggie Walsh. We bring in Reggie Walsh for this one.
Reggie Walsh? I doubt it. Maybe on the bench.
He might be able to come on though.
There's a chance of that. I can see that happening, especially if we're winning comfortably. So what are we saying on the wings then, Nina? We want to. Did you say Sancho?
Yeah, Sancho.
And would you play him on the left or the right? We've got Tyreek George as well. We've got Neto. We've got Madueke. Obviously, Mudrik's not available.
Well, you can't play Sancho. Oh, unless you play Sancho and Madueke and you put Tyreek George up top or something.
Okay, so George up top.
At least that gives you a bit of balance there on the wings, slightly, and then you know let the kid have some time. Like he's got a good finish on him. Never know, he could score a goal or two. And those two with their crosses, who knows? But that kind of gives you just score a few goals in the first half and then give the youngsters some time in the second half. More of those youngsters. And again, this is us being in Maresca's head. Because let's be real, us Chelsea fans, we might even want to be a little bit more riskier, a bit more chaotic with the lineup. But like Enzo Maresca's not going to be, is he? Like we've seen him play these kind of footballers in these games, and if he wants to bring on other players in the second half, probably will. But I think he'll want a few goals just for confidence. Like I'd be delighted if Sancho scores in this one. I'd be happy if George scores. Even Madueke, like he loves a goal, doesn't he? So yeah.
The thing is, there's not actually that many players to pick from. This is the thing when you're talking about rotating and you're saying who can make a massive difference.
No.
In terms of the back line, you're pretty limited. In the midfield, you want to rest the majority of your best players. I'm not sure if Nkunku is still injured or not. Does anyone know about that? Is he still?
I can't lie to you, Alex. I completely forgot about Nkunku today.
Well, I mean, in a game like this, it would make sense to get Nkunku.
You would play him, sure.
Yeah, I would play Nkunku, for example, instead of Noni. I'd rest Noni and I'd play Nkunku, and then I'd put maybe Nkunku on the left. He's done that many times. And then I'd play Sancho down the right-hand side. Just think it's a little bit better. I don't think we're getting much from Nkunku. Or I play Nkunku up front, sorry, and I play George on the left. And that will allow, defensively, we'll have a little bit more cover. Someone actually willing to track back and defend, rather than Nkunku, who just sort of walks around the place. But I mean, ultimately, we're just looking at getting players in that can just fill in for someone else. There's not really much more to it. So, but with a 4-1 deficit, you can kind of get away with it, even if you lose a game 2-0. I guess the excuse is we didn't have to qualify, even if we've got a bunch of bums on the pitch.
But I don't really want that to be the case. Do you know what I mean? I want us to win tonight, like, comfortably. Hopefully Nkunku isn't fair. Oh,
no, I know he doesn't want to be at Chelsea, but I'm just saying, I'm just talking about resting for the game against Newcastle. I don't know if I want to play Madueke in that game. God forbid Madueke gets injured. That's a huge blow for us. This is a player who's in form, who's able to play on the left and the right. We look at Swiss Army knives, and I know we joke about it, and we say, well, fucking hell, can't we just have someone who's good in one position? It is a real asset to have players who can play on both sides. And we've seen that with Madueke. We've seen it with Sancho as well. He can play on the right. He can play on the left. Not quite as direct, not as effective as Madueke has been this season in terms of his output. But it's important quality to have. I'm just trying to think what I would actually change. I think, Madueke for me, I would get rid of Madueke, and I'd put, where is it? Nkunku. I'd put Nkunku in there as well. I'd probably play him up front, and then I'd play George on the left. I'd swap Sancho on the right. There's a possibility that we see Fernandes higher, but we could still see that. There's nothing wrong there. I do think that if we see anyone invert, I think it'll be Achimpong. I don't think it'll be Gusto inverts. I think Achimpong will invert, and I think he'll play alongside. But then the question mark is who can cover him on that side. This is one thing that we don't necessarily like as much about Tosin, is his ability to be able to cover the right as well. And that's what you get with Chalobah, who's pretty good at that. So that's one of the doubts I would have. I guess if you're inverting Achimpong, maybe you start Chalobah again. And you could just play Tosin or Badiashile next to them. But maybe you're right. Maybe we do invert Gusto. That could be true. So I'm not. Yeah, let us know who you think will invert, guys. That's my predicted lineup. To be honest with you, I think that's actually what he might consider. But again, that's okay. So he is still injured. Oh well, in that case, then Nkunku will just presume that he's not playing unless he comes off the bench. So
I'm personally rooting for a Tyreek George masterclass tonight.
You're rooting for who? Sorry,
Tyreek George.
Oh, absolutely.
Go Tyreek George. That's all I've got to say.
Hey, listen, let's have a little look at some of the stuff Maresca had to say as well. Maresca is speaking about the Conference League, speaking about Chelsea having a chance to make history by winning the Conference League. This is what he had to say. They said, if the Blues progress past Djugarden this evening, then they will contest the final of UEFA's newest competition in Wrocław at the end of this month. Victory in Poland would break new ground. We would become the first team to win all 5 UEFA competitions. Maresca said that would be very good for the club. Pretty obvious. He also said, most importantly, it would be a way to start and build a winning mentality with the squad. We want this club winning trophies, and it's nice to win a trophy because you learn how to win. Chelsea are a big club with important trophies in the past, but we need to learn how to win with this squad. He says, I try to convince the players that day by day you have to build the winning mentality, win the small-sided games because winning shapes you. The competition we are in is the Conference League, where we all started in the playoffs, and we have to win this competition. Winning a trophy this season is a statement that you can say Chelsea is back because you have won a trophy. When you join a competition or play a game, when you have the pressure to win, it's not the same. You have to do the job, and the most important thing is to convince the players. There are no easy games, no easy opposition, because any game can be a tricky game. We won the first game against Warsaw 3-0. but we lost the second leg and could have conceded more goals. It's a competition that we started in the playoffs, not even the group stage, but we are going to try and win the competition. We want to reach the final, and then we want to win the final. So that's what Maresca's had to say coming into this game. I agree with what he's saying about the small-sided games. I think that's very, very true. But again, it's all talk. We need to see what happens on the pitch. We need to see how we set up. I guess I wouldn't have like a massive problem with us having a stronger squad, but at the same time, if we lose against Newcastle, then it is a problem, isn't it? Because you need to rest your players so they're fresh. On the flip side, if we rotate too heavily, we'll all complain that we didn't have more strength. So you've got to find that middle ground. But I think that, when we were doing our lineup builder as well, there is enough experience in there with Fernandes, with James. You've also got Tyreek George, Sancho. There's energy. There's Achimpong. Players that are experienced within this competition this season, at least, as well. And you've got a little bit of new blood. So, hey, we'll see. If you disagree or agree with anything we said, guys, let us know in the chat as well. Channel says, in Maresca, we trust. Listen, I hope he can do it. I really do. What else have they said? Gilchrist at right back. I haven't heard that one for a while.
Gilchrist, yeah.
He's at Sheffield still? Still at Sheffield?
I would be lying if I said yes or no. I'm not sure.
Pretty sure
he's
he's
at Sheffield. Where is he? Where is Alfie?
Sure he's at Sheffield. With Chris Wilder last time I checked. Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. Or was that last season or something like that? I don't know. Little bit of Chelsea news. Is he still at Sheffield, is he? Not on a permanent, on a loan?
No, yeah.
Oh, fair. A little bit of news, an update regarding Jamie Gittins, who is a young English winger. Chelsea are prepared to offer Jamie Gittins a lucrative contract and double the salary he earns at Dortmund. They would offer him a long-term contract running until 2030 as well. That's via Court Offside. We've heard plenty from Court Offside as it stands. He's on about 17 GA this season. And listen, there's also interest from Liverpool apparently as well. We're not the only club. Seems to be competing with Liverpool for quite a few players as well. There's been talk about, obviously, Dean Huijsen being another player that there's a lot of competition for. He's only 20 years old, Jamie Gittins, but according to what they're saying, he's considered one of the most promising wingers in European football, and he has dazzled with his potential and performances. His market value is estimated at around 60 million euros, but Dortmund were initially holding out for a transfer fee as high as 100. It is believed that negotiations could bring this figure down to the 60 to 70 million euro range. Now, I think that's a load of nonsense. We heard the other day that it was about 35 million. So the fact that this particular article is saying 60 to 70 is just totally different to what we've heard before. I mean, that could just be that both of them are wrong and none of them know what they're talking about. But he is a player that's in demand, and he's attracted attention of a number of European clubs. There's reports suggesting that Bayern Munich are preparing a serious offer, and Liverpool are also considering him as a replacement for Luis Diaz. He's been linked away from Liverpool in recent months. Man City's interest as well is there, and Tottenham have been pursuing plans to add Gittins to their squad, but they need to replace players like Werner and Richarlison as well. So listen, we don't know if there's much to this article. All we can say is that this article is there, and you're welcome to read it. It's free to read. You can check it out. It's on, what do you call it? Court Offside. I think that is a load of nonsense personally, but I mean, what's your take on it, Nina?
I don't really know. A lot of things are being thrown around at the moment. It's hard to sort of, take everything very seriously. But, if it were to be true, he's a good player. I don't mind him. But I do think 60, 70 million maybe is a bit much. However, you know, if you've got lots of other Premier League clubs coming in for him, there's obviously a big demand. Dortmund can afford to request and demand a little bit higher. But again, is he someone that comes in and instantly upgrades us in many ways? I'm not too sure. Maybe he does offer something and add something, definitely. But I think in summer we need to be looking at players who, yeah, of course, there's no guarantee with anyone, but are less of a risk factor in terms of you can definitely count on them to continue on their G&A from last season into next season without too much time to settle in or whatever. So I think in summer we need to be looking at instant impact. I don't know, maybe he could be that, but I'm not entirely convinced at the same time. But, you know, he is obviously one of those younger kind of hot prospects out there in Europe at the moment. So there could be something there that you might not want to miss. But you do also have to ask yourself how much is realistic to pay for him. Like, how badly do you need him and how much does he upgrade Chelsea instantly?
I don't think he upgrades us in. Well, I guess it depends how you look at it.
I guess,
that is not too dissimilar to Madueke, who's probably
he fits
third.
the profile.
Well, I mean, he's not much better than Madueke via those numbers this season, but he is playing in an easier league. Germany is obviously they don't play against low blocks. Every team tries to play attacking football. There's more space to operate in that sense. Look, I mean, if you'd have asked me in January what I thought, the Gitten's form was fantastic. It was sensational. But looking at it more recently, he's had a massive dip. Niko Kovac, new manager, hasn't played him as much, hasn't performed as well under the new manager. I don't exactly know why that is, but you can see it in the numbers. I mean, look, stats aren't everything, but there's something. I think they are still important. Otherwise, nobody would talk about them, full stop. We'll move on with Jamie Gittens. Let us know if it's thumbs up or thumbs down in the chat as well for Jamie Gittens. And realistically, what is a price tag we should consider? Because I would consider 35 million. I wouldn't prioritize that deal, but I would consider that as an additional signing if we can get all of our other priority positions filled, i.e. centre-back and a striker as well. Bearing in mind, we've already got midfielders and a goalkeeper. So that's my stance on it. Graham Belly coming out saying Liam Delap is considering his options. I would still make Chelsea the favourites to sign him. He's got that relationship from Man City with Enzo Maresca. Cole Palmer is one of his close friends, and there's that route to the first team. By the way, Nina, what's your thought on Delap? I can't remember if you're like me personally. I haven't got anything against that signing, but I know some people don't like it.
Yeah, no, I've spoken about him a lot, so I'll try and be as concise as possible. I don't mind Delap, but he's not my first choice. And if we do sign Delap, I think we need to sign someone else also. Like, he's not our missing piece, if that makes sense. Like, the only missing piece. And I think we just need to be going a little bit higher than that. No disrespect to Delap. I just think that I personally am looking for something a little bit more in a centre forward.
What if you were to get two, though, as opposed to an Osman, let's just say a Delap and a Jonathan David? Would that be enough for you?
It would be better than just Delap, for sure. But again, I think for me, I just want to go for someone that's just one guy, like a Gyökeres or someone that doesn't have that he's okay kind of factor like Delap has. I think he's good, but Gyökeres, he brings in something that elevates the attack instantly. A goal scorer and someone who doesn't have that much of a meh around him. I don't know. I'm not that keen on Delap, to be honest with you, but if he comes in, someone else needs to come in with him. But I would definitely rather go for someone like Gyökeres and someone that I don't have to wait around for or worry that he might not hit the same numbers that he did last year. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Everyone, take care. Have a great day. Alex, I'll catch you at the game later.
Always a pleasure, Nina. I'll see you later. All right. Have a good one.
Take care, everyone.
Big up to Nina. Smash the like button for Nina as well. We've got over